Hey, how's it going? So I was watching Archer recently, and I started to think about how similar Archer himself is to Xander Cruz from
Who's
Frisky.
Xander Cruz?
Well, Xander Cruz, not to be confused with Neural Cruz, of course, is
Who's
the...
Neural Cruz?
Shut the f*** up, and I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you now. Remember the days of the original Adult Swim? Well, good for you, because I can't. Wasn't even born yet. But do you remember C-Lab 2021? In case you don't, C-Lab 2021 was the first adult-oriented show ever created by Adam Reed using recycled animation cells from an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon called C-Lab 2020, voiced over with new dialogue in a similar fashion to Space Ghost Coast to Coast. While I'm not really going to be discussing C-Lab 2021 much, it is important to mention as it was basically Adam Reed's foot in the door into making other shows for Adult Swim. But it's not where Adam Reed got his start. You see, Adam Reed and continuous collaborator Matt Thompson started as production assistants for Adult Swim's parent company, Cartoon Network, in the 90s before Adult Swim was created. After a couple years or so of this, Adam and Matt created their own show called High Noon Tunes, which was a 3-hour block of cartoons hosted by Adam and Matt using cowboy hand puppets. Apparently they were both frequently hammered whenever filming, and I mean, no shit, just look at it.
It's just rope, boy, it won't hurt you. Ow! Stop it, Joe!
High Noon Tunes ended in 1996 after Adam and Matt left Cartoon Network, leaving the pair to work in the quote-unquote sordid underbelly of daytime talk show television for about a year. During their time at CN, Adam and Matt took their original pilot of C-Lab 2021 to their employers at Cartoon Network, wherein they replaced the dialogue of the characters and not much else. Surprisingly, the higher-ups at CN declined.
Welcome, Nigel. I'm Marco. Dolphin Boy, spit that out. I love rubbing my head with a towel. Just rub.
But when the pair came back with the new pilot of C-Lab 2021, where a noticeable amount of extra effort was put in with the characters now having some of their own custom animations, CN approved the show, and it ran on Cartoon Network until the creation of Adult Swim, where it was then moved to the more adult-oriented block. C-Lab 2021 not only marks Adam and Matt's first foray into Adult Swim, but also marks the creation of 7030 Productions, the pair's animation studio for future projects up to Archer. Between the ending of C-Lab 2021's original run on April 24, 2005, and Frisky Dingo's premiere on October 16, 2006, Adam started working on Matt Millero's Fever Dream Manifested 12-ounce mouse as the main antagonist Shark for the first 2 seasons of the original run and the Invictus special. Now that we've caught up on the Reed and Thompson timeline, we can discuss Frisky Dingo properly. Frisky Dingo, also known by its development names Whiskey Tango or Whiskey Tango 6, is a parody of the superhero genre created by guess fucking who, I've been yapping about them for minutes already, where the villain is usually better than the hero. Featuring an ensemble cast of characters like Killface, the talon-footed yet gentlemanly alien with a mission to destroy Earth, Xander Cruz, the immature playboy with an extreme disinterest to anything not related to him, and superhero/leader of the Xtacles, Awesome X, Grace Ryan, the always neglected girlfriend of Xander and reporter for Force 10 News, and Wendell Stamps, who is quite possibly the most irredeemable character in the entirety of the 730-verse.
Going down for this, Cody! You're a loose cannon!
Killface's initial mission is to use his very own doomsday device dubbed the Annihilatrix to destroy the Earth, although he's not taken very seriously. And the newly retired Xander Cruz must take back the mantle and battle Killface. Not for any heroic or even good reasons, though, considering he basically just uses Killface as a piece of marketing for his brand new Awesome X action figures. But this is more so a backdrop for the rest of the events in the series, because, at least for the most part, plot points don't finish per se. It's more like one plot point is used to move to the situation that causes another development in the story without the conclusion to the original plot point. For example, in Season 1, Episode 5, Kidnapped, Xander and manager/psychotic Alfred to his childish Batman Stan are about to be ransomed by Killface and his son Simon atop the Annihilatrix catwalk, with Grace Ryan and crew, a handful of Xtacles, Annihilatrix manager Phil, bodyguard to Killface Sin, and Grace's one-use boy toy in tow. A fight breaks out between Xander and Grace's new boy toy, resulting in Grace Ryan falling off the catwalk, with the only thing to hold her being a lone microphone cord. At the start of Season 1, Episode 6, Emergency Room, the cord snaps, and Grace falls from the Annihilatrix into the conveniently located drums of super-intelligent, radioactive, waste-covered ants in the back of Xander and Stan's favorite punching bag Wadley's truck, which then leads to Grace Ryan becoming Antagony, and so on and so forth. Keep in mind that the original story was Killface taking Xander for ransom. It works in the show's favor, though, as there's really not enough time for anything to get stale. This is in contrast to Archer's method of storytelling, which I will get into after a quick run-up. Archer, also known by its development title Duchess, is undoubtedly Adam Reed's most popular and widespread show. It features titular character Sterling Archer's daily life in the field of half-drunk, half-assed espionage, and even though his antics always piss off his co-workers, most notably nerdy accountant Cyril Figgis, the head of human resources Pamela Poovey, psychotic heiress to the massive Tunt fortune Cheryl Tunt, and on and off lover Lana Kane, they put up with this shit because A, he is actually a really good spy when he feels like it, and B, his mother runs the agency, which is it's called ISIS, by the way. A big part of the first handful of seasons of Archer is the workplace dynamic within the agency, with peculiar characters around the building like sassy southerner Ray Gillette, possible boy from Brazil / mad scientist turned matter Elgernot Krieger, and bullet magnet Brett being the most prominent.
My God! Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm like a magnet.
Brett, shut up!
Take the pilot episode of Archer, for example. The two sides of the story, that being the hunt for a mole within the organization, and Archer's attempts to remove the extra expenses from his company expense account, are both vastly different plotlines joined at the hip by workplace rivalry. What I mean by that is that the reason Archer can't access his expense account is because of his soiled relationships with his co-workers who can access it.
Well, your dolphin, Pam!
Archer, she's down, alright?
Your
Archer,
dolphin!
she's tapping out!
You!
I think she peed. I had to get 3 stitches.
And I broke my watch.
And the reason Archer stops the mole within the agency is because he used his expertise in espionage to try and break into his expense account, while just happening to encounter the mole in the process. The two plotlines both use the same starting point to further branch out and show the styles of comedy Archer excels in. But the main reason I'm mentioning this, however, is because it shows the clearest distinction, aside from the far more absurd scenarios of Frisky Dingo.
You gotta take me to the hospital! You know I can't do that, Jimmy! I'm dying, bro! You ain't gonna die, say it! Come on, shut up, man! You ain't gonna die! Say the freaking word!
Between how Archer and Frisky Dingo handle a story. To put it simply, in Archer, a plotline typically starts and ends within the span of a couple episodes, if not just one, with things like Ray's continual paralysis and Archer Dreamland / Danger Island being the rare exception. But in Frisky Dingo, a plotline will typically go on until a wild card of sorts is sort of thrown into there, in which it'll completely switch up the dynamic enough to change the plotline. In a good way, though. So, with all this talk about the differences between the two shows, you're probably starting to wonder where the similarities are. Well, you know, just, the art style, the voice actors, the incessant Burt Reynolds, the use of boosh and or cacao, tinnitus, the blueberry muffin briefcase, the questionable ringtones, and probably a fuck ton more.
What the hell, damn guy?
Was der Huller, verdammt Kerl?
Master Coconut!
Pam.
Except Gavin and Mike. Both Mikes.
Oh, Fat Mike too.
Boom. Cops got all of them.
Oh, Fat Mike too?
All of them.
And I'll put the Ant Farm keyboards in the radioactive waste.
There's also a handful of characters directly from Frisky Dingo in Archer, like Simone, Baby Penguin Lamont, though I'm not sure how, considering Killface uses him as a blunt weapon in the debate part 2, and the one and only Mr. Ford, whose ass is literally everywhere. Also, the shows have tons of running jokes that they don't share either, like Whatley's favorite sentence, I like to call it lost wages, and Sterling's favorite sentence,
Phrasing. Boom.
But the most direct similarity, and by that I mean basically the lone one-off joke that got turned into an entire episode of Archer later on, is in Season 2, Episode 10, titled Wendell Goes Undercover Again. In said episode, whilst Xander, Wendell, and the Doctor that's been hanging around ever since people started staring at Xander's halo are brainstorming how to kill Antagony, who is currently pregnant with a massive ant baby, the Doctor's idea is to use a shrink ray on an experimental submarine so that Xander and the submarine can be injected into Wendell's brain in order to access his motor functions and adrenal glands so that he can become the ultimate fighting machine. Does that even somewhat remind you of Season 6, Episodes 12 and 13 of Archer, perhaps? You know, Jurassic Voyage Part 1 and 2? The one where the gang must use a shrink ray on an experimental submarine in order to be injected into a doctor's brain to save his life? Listen, I'm not saying it's the same situation. I'm saying it's about 75% the same situation. And it's really interesting to see a one-off joke from Frisky Dingo form into the Season 6 finale for not only a separate show entirely, but also for said show 7 years later. Yet throughout all this, I failed to mention the incredibly short-lived Frisky Dingo spin-off. The Xtacles, based entirely around the daily ongoings of The Xtacles, was the Frisky Dingo spin-off that went from November 9th, 2008 to November 9th, 2008. It got only 2 11-minute episodes that do not have any speaking roles from Xander or Killface, and Adam Reed was not involved in the making of the show. The first episode, Operation Mountain Punch, is pretty fun, if not a bit lackluster, and it's nice to see some more characterization for the Xtacles. But episode 2, Operation Murderous Conclusions, is, it's...
Rape. Some sort of raping gorilla? Rape ape.
Rape ape.
Rape ape. Raping these statues.
Rape ape. That guy who is going around raping these statues. Rape ape?
Rape ape.
Mm-hmm. Rapier ape?
Rapier ape. He's obviously taken raping to a whole new level.
Rapier ape is retired.
Oh my god, tell me there isn't a rapiest ape.
Oh my god. He rapes people with a sword?
Oh man, that's gross.
Rapier ape.
Ape who's even rapier than rape ape.
Overnight raping. You're gonna get raped.
Huh?
You're gonna get raped.
Oh my goodness.
With a sword. You're gonna get raped.
Let's just get inside.
Post haste.
You're gonna get raped.
100% rape proof. Jack off fantasy blog. Rape your ape. Rape this statue raping piece of garbage. Rape again. Anti-rape boosh.
It's that. I might have missed a joke or two here, but as far as I can tell, there isn't really anything that passed on into Archer, so this spin-off is pretty self-contained. Now it's time for some other stuff, including a theory. The most prevalent theory I've seen between Archer and Frisky Dingo is that Xander Cruz is either the son or grandson of Sterling Archer. It's a nice theory, but no. But maybe yes, theoretically. If, say, there was a version of Archer Danger Island where Sterling didn't die at the end and, ran away with Cheryl or something, then yeah, I could see that. It would explain the eye patch, too. But in the actual non-coma canon, there's no way, considering both Mr. Ford and Simone are seemingly the same age as they were in Frisky Dingo. Plus, Cheryl's mention of the slideshow, as quoted from Wendell Stamps.
Well, in the immortal words of Wendell Stamps, that's going in the slideshow.
Who, ironically, is the one person in Frisky Dingo to be adamantly against the slideshow.
Seriously, every time. Goosebumps with him.
Yeah, he's in the slideshow.
What is this slideshow everybody doing?
If there were to be a Season 3 of Frisky D, then it would make the most sense for it to be at least somewhat reminiscent of Archer 1999, because of Killface, Simon, and Xander's trip into space at the very end of Frisky Dingo. And I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Not sure what the Xtacles would be doing. Oh wait, we already found that out. In conclusion, there's 2 main reasons I made this video. One is because I wanted to rant and rave about 2 similar shows I like for a bit too long. And 2 is that I feel like it is important to be at least aware of a creator, or in this case a showrunner's previous creations or shows, in order to get a better context on things like the art style or dialogue, or even direct references to the shows of the writer's past. It makes all the shows feel more intricately woven together, even if they don't share a connected characters or universe. And it's almost like a visual time capsule as you see the animator's work quality improve over time with experience and budget increases. Just watch any episode of Frisky Dingo and then watch an episode from season 13 of Archer and you'll get what I mean. Basically, be knowledgeable of an artist's other works as it'll give you a greater outlook on the work that brought you to that artist in the first place. Also something something Kino, something whatever, animation elitist. Good luck, goodbye, and Godspeed.